Welcome to Wax Wednesday, everyone. I'm your host, Darrick Ramos, and today we're coming to you from Analog Record Shop here in Tustin, California. We're about to sit down for an interview with store owner Alex Forsythe to discuss everything about vinyl and how he became a record store owner. And then afterwards, I'm gonna do a bit of digging throughout the store, pick up some records, and take the records that I find here today back to the lab so that I can cook up a beat with them. So stay tuned because that's all coming up on today's episode of Wax Wednesday. Now play the theme.
My name is Alex Forsythe, and I'm the owner and founder of Analog Record Shop. My dad always had a used collection, and my mom did too, in the house. Music was a big part of my household growing up, and I'm trying to remember the first record I bought was probably, I know I had a copy of Zeppelin 2 early on, and I know I had Talking Heads, and then I had Chipmunk Punk, for sure, on record. That was like the Chipmunks doing old punk songs. In my mid-20s, I had been touring as a musician for a long time and getting a little burnt out on that. I think I realized I wanted to do something obviously in music, but I had to make a living and not being in a van with a bunch of sneaky dudes all the time. So my friends opened up a clothing shop in this really cool mall in Costa Mesa, and they had an open space next to them, and the idea kind of came to me by seeing the space before I really had the idea of the record shop. And I opened it up as just analog. Without the record shop at first, and I kind of did records and I did guitar related stuff as well. So like amps, guitars, guitar effects. I mean, that was 2011, 2012, when records were just starting to kind of like get back into the mainstream again. And people were just coming in for the records. So I wasn't selling guitars, I was selling records. So I moved spaces in that shop and or in that mall, and went full record shop at that point. I just really wanted to be around music all day long as my job. I mean, one way or another. I played music for so long, and I knew that wasn't gonna, at that point in my life, get me anywhere as far as like a career, but I wanted to be around music. So this made a lot of sense to me at the time. I didn't know it was gonna succeed, but my goal was to at least like live and get to talk about music all day. And if those two things coincided, it was pretty exciting. It was gear focused. I had some of the stereo equipment, and then there was a lot of like the guitar effects as well. It was all analog based like guitar effects, and it just made sense like to tie in the two, like the stereo and the guitar, and creation of music all being analog based. We offer a lot of cool stuff. I mean, we're a small shop, so we only really put on display the good stuff. We don't fill the store with a lot of junk because we don't have the room for it. So if you're coming in here, I guarantee you're gonna find something cool. And it's good vibes, and we love talking about music here. We're open 7 days a week. During the week it's 11 to 7, and on the weekends 11 to 6. I think it's a really cool, unique way of creating. I think that I was pretty ignorant on it early on in my career and thought that it was a weird way of doing it. And then once I actually learned a little bit more about the skill that it takes, the creativity that it takes to make it something unique and make it not just taking a piece of music, but creating something out of, something else. It's pretty special and has a very unique place in music for sure. And I think, yeah, it's definitely keeping vinyl alive. I mean, people are buying up Taylor Swift records, but they're also, sample-based music, even in electronic and everything like that, is gigantic right now. It's huge, and that's totally driven by unique sounds from, vinyl records.
All right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Alex Forsythe. We recommend that when you are here in Tustin, California, you come down to his store here at Analog Record Shop and see what he has to offer, because that's what we're about to do. I'm gonna hit the jazz section because he let us know that he has a good amount of jazz. I'm also gonna check out those dollar bins soon too. Right now I'm just hitting the jazz bin, not looking for anything specific, but this looks like it could be crazy. Based off the title alone, Unicorn Dream, Noah Young. Never heard of him, but he has a sample on here called Lake Taco, so I'll take it. Bozo the Clown. Happy birthday, it's your birthday, the party, the circle dance, icy, spicy, peppermint, ice cream. Might be some heat on here. This is a foreign, I don't know what country, but another dollar record. Alex definitely has some gems in here. This is One Stormy Night by the Mystic Moods Orchestra. You never know what you're gonna find, honestly. When you come to record stores, you know, I feel like you get a good idea of what the record store owner likes to carry. Kind of like Alex said, he could really only put out the good stuff because he has a smaller store here, but even with the dollar bins, I feel like you find a lot of better stuff than you would in maybe a larger store, because sometimes larger stores could be overwhelming, and that's where the smaller stores, I feel like, really come in clutch. And my 7th grade PE teacher looked like this. She had a pretty good arm in dodgeball. All right, everybody, so I got some picks here from Analog Record Shop. I highly recommend that when you are here in Tustin, California, or really anywhere in the Orange County area, and if you were looking for vinyl, to come see what Analog Record Shop has to offer. They have a lot of dope stuff. I could spend hours in here, but I'm about to go back to the lab, see what I found, and see what sort of samples I can pull from the records that I got here from Analog, and I'll be right back. Peace. My name is Darrick Ramos. I am the creator and host of Wax Wednesday. At this point in time, this would be like my 5th time cooking up a beat for Wax Wednesday, including all 3 times I cooked up a beat with Izzy on season 1. Actually, no, I'm sorry. So it would be my 6th time cooking up a beat for Wax Wednesday. So did 2 episodes last season and 1 episode today. All right, everyone. So I am back in the lab, and I am actually going to be cooking up a beat with a record that I found at Analog Record Shop. I'm going to be cooking up again on the MPC 1000. To me, I just feel that, like, I don't know, there's just something about personally like cooking up in one piece of hardware and seeing what you come up with. So the sample that I have today is actually from this jazz record, Noah Young, Unicorn Dream. Pretty obscure jazz record. It's kind of out there. I think he's mainly a bass player. Noah Young, but I'm actually sampling from the first side, and the track is called The Wizard. So I'm going to go ahead and play you a little bit of the section that I pulled. I actually pulled several sections, but it's like a really crazy bass heavy track, and there's not a lot of percussion in it, which I think is going to make for like a pretty sick sample flip. So let's do it. So yeah, that's the sample, and I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to say there's like 4 chops in here. Yeah, so let's... So I got the samples loaded up. So there was actually a different sample, and I'll show you what it was. There was a sample from here that I originally was going to go with, but to me it kind of sounded like something that I had done on the last season of Wax Wednesday. So I stepped away from that. This is an Asian record. I don't know what country in Asia, but on the second to last song on this sample, on this vinyl, had some really cool looking, or sounding I should say, samples to use at the very beginning of the track. So I was going to do that originally. And then I went with this record, which we found at, again, Analog Record Shop in Tustin. It is a contemporary jazz record from an artist named Noah Young. It's called Unicorn Dream. The sample that I went with was track 3 on side 1 called The Wizard. So The Wizard's basically has a very bass heavy sound. There's actually not a lot of percussion in it, which is cool. There's very, very minimal percussion. So I feel like that gave me a lot to just add my own flair to it. think there's another sample that I could use too. I'm going to try to just go ahead and go through everything. Alright, let's actually chop up this one. So this is going to be my main sample. The shop we went to and found these records was at Analog Record Shop, and we're using a piece of analog equipment to cook up this beat, so alright, so now I'm going to convert that to a new program, do it. Alright, I'm going to record that and just see how this melody comes out and just dive head first. Let me just do like a 4-bar loop. I chose The Wizard off of Unicorn Dream again because I'm trying to step outside of my comfort zone and just work with different sort of samples, different sounds. So again, this is something that I probably in general wouldn't have picked up on or done, especially because it's really like, I think The Wizard, when you're listening to the track in full, is very the essence of jazz in that it's very freeform, and you know, it has the same mood throughout, but it feels very, very freeform. I just liked that it had those heavy bass tones, and then it also had those like bells and chimes and everything throughout the actual record itself. So I'm going to add some drums now. Let's do a snare first, so we have that. I like that. Alright, I like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some hats, some hi-hats. Like that, so I'll grab that. Once I get into like the thick of it, I just try not to overthink anything. I just try to go, you know, straight into cooking up a loop and then going into Logic afterwards, tracking it out and then sequencing it. So really my main goal here is just to create something that would sound dope with some rhymes over it. So that's what we're going for. So I'm going to add another hi-hat layer. We're going to go to program 3, I believe it is. Okay, so I'm actually going to re-record this at a 16 levels. Turn that on. So the production, I used the trusty old MPC 1000. I think the MPC 1000 is a great machine. I haven't got a chance to use the other MPCs, but again, I just wanted to do everything in one piece of equipment. I think the MPC is at least for me, is a really good tool in terms of working with what you have available to you, I should say. And you know, whether it's the sounds available that you have on the machine itself, or stuff that you've recorded into the sampler, and then just cutting everything up and playing things back to your own melodies is what I like to do. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get that kick. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and lace those chimes over this to kind of bring in later on, and then again I'll go back and sequence it, and you guys will hear everything at the end of the episode. So we're just gonna mess around and see what we come up with. Ooh, that last part might... That kind of sounds like some straight Killer Wu-Tang vibes, you know what I mean? Let it cycle through one loop, and then we'll just... mute that. I really like the production. I like how it came out. I just like that the MPC, again, not necessarily limits you, but you know, you have to work with what's available to you. In terms of the production, again, I feel like it at least to me, feels like that 90s heavy bass track, or if you even think of 1985 from J. Cole, having that like heavy bass melody, and then just, you know, other little elements throughout. So I laid down a bass line, did the drums, and then I actually went back and found a little chime from the end of the song and added that, which kind of reminded me of, I believe, Criminology from Only Built for Cuban Links. You know, final thoughts on this beat, I'm happy with how it came out, and I'm really looking forward to how it's going to sound fully sequenced and tracked out. I think what's inspired me to continue to grow is getting out of my comfort zone. So for example, today, I don't usually cook up on the MPC if I'm making beats for someone. I usually just use the machine. I mean, even today, traditionally, I wouldn't necessarily take a sample and then take another portion of the song for that sample, but that's what I did with the track that I pulled from this vinyl. Is, you know, I used this part that was bass heavy to lay down that bass line, and then I brought in those chimes from the end of the song, and kind of just brought it all together, and I think it really flows really well. So in terms of what inspires me to grow production-wise, it's just always trying to get better and not trying to box myself in. So one day I might make a trap-sounding beat or drill-sounding beat, and who knows, I might even figure out a way to do it on the MPC.